Hi. This is what we have spun during Tour de Fleece, believe it or not. I am making a twin sweater set, one for me, one for my husband. Men's and women's sweaters from 1950s approximate. It's a free pattern which was originally published in Spool Cotton number 291. Everyone wears sweaters because we would say in Flemish that's a truth as a cow. Everyone wears sweaters. And as I have mentioned before in my Tour de Fleece vlogs, I wanted to make a matching set for myself and my husband so that we can be very cute and twinning. In this here video, I shall document the process of making these sweaters, perhaps in multiple stages. We'll see how far we get and how I feel about it. Let's get into the knitting! Now, if my husband were normal people sized, I could stop here. But alas, I have to go another 20 centimeters because he is a giant in the Nile. He thinks we are the ones that are actually smaller than average and that his 2 meters is actually the average. He's a weirdo, am I right? At least someone who understands my way of thinking. Very clever thoughts. So as you guys just saw, I had to cast on for the front. Now in my recent how do I find source down it by my vintage knitting patterns, someone asked the question how I deal with vintage patterns not always going up necessary sizes and sometimes not giving the right gauge measurements. Now the gauge measurements, I can be real short. I am too much of a chaos goblin to actually give a shit about gauge measurements. No, I mean, I do give something about it, but mostly I'm too excited and I just go ahead and I gauge with my eyes, like eyeball, is this going to be fitting? Does this always work? No! And I have got the videos to prove it. But for the other question, how did I deal with vintage patterns not always being size inclusive? Which is a good question as I am right now working on a sweater for my husband, and my husband is a giant with Herculean measurements. Like he has broad shoulders, broad chest, small tummy, and the pattern I'm knitting right now only goes up to a size 40. Way too small for him. So what I did right now is I checked what the average stitch difference was between the sizes, which for this pattern was 12, and I then counted further. So I counted until size 44. So I made sure that I started with 24 stitches more than the pattern gave me for the biggest size. And then sometimes when they say decrease or increase until the pattern has so many stitches, I just calculate the difference between where I started and where I have to end and see if there is an average between all the sizes and then try to mimic that within the larger size. I don't know if this is exactly how you scale patterns. I'm inclining to say no, it is not, but right now it is working. The sweater looks, I mean, the back of the sweater looks like it will fit my husband. So for now, it's sort of working. you will see by the end of the video if my calculations, if my math has been correct. So as I have now been knitting on this front piece of the sweater for over 1 week and a half, I have finally come to the point where I can divide for the neck. Woohoo! But not to cry victory too early, because I also am down to, well, 2.5 skeins, of which one is rather a small skein. This is not going to be enough for sleeve, where I at first was hopeful that I could finish this sweater with all the wool that I had and maybe have a little bit left over to start my version of this sweater. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Seriously, it is not going to happen. Who would have thought that 23 days of spinning would result in not enough yarn for one sweater? Certainly not me. Anyway, that's a problem for future Jente. Right now, I'll tell you about the Frankensteining bit I did for the neckline of this sweater, because I'm Frankensteining both the vest pattern and the cardigan pattern together, and I'm making the neckline as if it were the cardigan, but then together instead of the vest, because my husband is not the type that would wear like a deep V-neck. I think if I knit the vest neckline, then this sweater would get absolutely zero wear out of it. And that would be a pity, considering all the work that has gone into it, starting July 1st, and today we are September 6th, and we're not even halfway, or maybe, yeah, we are. So yeah, to cater to my husband's taste, I am making the higher up neckline of the cardigan. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news, and we are live. We are standing here in front of a husband who is about to fit a handspun, hand-knit garment from his wife for the very first time. Mister, how are you feeling?
Excited.
And how does that feel?
Feels great. It feels warm here.
It's wool and we're in a heat wave, so warm is exactly what you should feel. But how is the armholes? They're not too tight?
No. And the length at the back is great too.
Nice, nice. So that means we can continue on knitting.
Please do so. I'm excited.
Thank you very much. You saw it, ladies and gentlemen. The sweater, it fits. First off, apologies if you can hear my neighbor fighting off bushes with a chainsaw. Yes, this is the only moment that I could film. I have been waiting for him for like 2 days to be silent. And now I am running out of time deadline-wise, so bear with me as the bear of my neighbor growls all the time in the background. So, sleeves, eh? I bet you know the construction. You make 2 of them and you gradually increase, when also increasing in length. As you can see, I have approximately about 2 half sleeves. I also have approximately nothing left. This means that I will have to spin more. I will have to spin more just to finish this one sweater for my husband, and I would have loved to be able to finish this sweater, to show you the final reveal, the final result in one video, but it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. This project shall have to be cut up in multiple videos. Or well, If you're interested in seeing more videos, then rejoice! This project shall be cut up in multiple videos! Whatever sentiment suits your mood right now the most, pick and choose. It's up to you. Also a question, do you believe in the boyfriend sweater curse? It's almost finished now, so could it be that something disastrous might happen to my relationship with my husband after this is finished? I don't think so, because this is approximately like the 5th sweater I make for him. The only thing that happens is that I get cranky if he gets critical about my work, but standard procedures. So as we're ending the video right now and continuing this project on a later date, I cannot promise you that it'll be next week. I mean, I can't promise you that it'll not be next week. I almost needed a month to spin all of this. And if I want to finish this and then also make one for myself, yeah, you can do the math. So since we're ending here, if you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe. But of course, that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. Bye!